Hi everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of my 12 favorite Diana Ross albums, and we are down to the very last 4 albums, and today everything is everything. And is this album cover everything? I mean, look at that outfit. You have to remember this is 1970 and Diana Ross is positively naked, wearing Bob Mackie, of course, but quite nude. And I'll have quite a bit to tell you about this outfit, and also an outfit which I've been talking about in several videos, and I finally found the pictures. I couldn't find them and I found them again. So this is Diana Ross' second album, second solo album, of course, and it came out very, very shortly, just a few months after the first solo album. And the reason for that is that when Diana Ross' first album came out, the single that was chosen by Diana Ross to come out as a single was Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. That song had a lot of meaning to Diana Ross, and she really fought hard to have that be the first single. What happened is that it was not a huge hit. It was a hit, but not a huge hit. And so Berry Gordy, who was disappointed by the sales, went immediately to make a second album, and he wanted, a top billing album. By that time, the Supremes, which had reformed as the Supremes without Diana Ross, were getting quite a bit of attention with some hits. So they were a little bit topping Diana Ross in the charts. And so they decided to make this album. But by the time Everything Is Everything came out, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the second single out of the first Diana Ross album, came out, and it shot to #1. So then the decision was to make her third album, solely produced by Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson, and that was Surrender. So this one kind of was lost. It was sandwiched between the two, and it didn't get so much attention. It wasn't promoted a lot because they knew that, the big hit was going to be the third album. Nevertheless, this is an amazing album. I covered Surrender, which I adore, but Everything Is Everything is everything, and I love every single one of these songs. Now, the producers are the legendary Hal Davis. This is the reissue, and the reissue is dedicated to him, and pretty incredible as usual. The reissues, you have the original songs which are remastered, and then you have outtakes, and you have other songs, and you have remixes of the songs. So it's always fantastic to get these reissues, and they're available on iTunes as well as physical sometimes. So we begin. This is Diana Ross, 25 years old, with a huge career behind her, a mega superstar, but this is still her second album, so she has everything to prove. Dec Richards is also a producer on this album. But let's get right into it. My Place, the opening song, I adore this song. And you know how I always tell you, a lot of Diana Ross songs resemble each other. Now, My Place is a early version of It's My House, again, or Home. But it really is very close in the way that it is describing her place that she wants to share with you, and all of the things that she loves and the things that are close to her. And this song is a beautiful opening number. It really could be an opening song for a concert. And there's a charming accordion that accompanies Diana Ross' beautiful speaking voice. So it's a really, really beautiful song. The second song, written by Berry Gordy #4, the son of Berry Gordy. The entire Gordy family is involved in this project. Ain't No Sad Song. Now, a woman who's saying, okay, you leave me, you're lost. Ain't no sad song since you've been gone. And I absolutely adore this. So Ain't No Sad Song is just a Diana Ross song. Everything Is Everything, which is the title song, absolutely beautiful. It's a ballad. Apparently Everything Is Everything was a trendy word that was said at the time. So it's a really, really lovely song. Baby It's Love, written by Marvin Gaye, a complete Marvin Gaye song. I mean, it sounds like Marvin Gaye, beautifully orchestrated, very, very sexy saxophone that accompanies Diana Ross's voice. And this is where you hear the way she masters a voice, because when she's not forcing, when she's not giving, the entire range, this is where you see how magnificent Diana Ross is. And then I'm Still Waiting, which is, again, a kind of a mystery, because a humongous hit in Europe, but especially in the UK. Now, I have friends my age, so 25, 26, who are English, and they remember that, that song being played on the radio when they were, teenagers or kids, or little children, because it is such a powerful, powerful song. Now, when Diana Ross does concerts in England, she has to sing I'm Still Waiting, because it is really an even bigger hit, I think, than Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And it's just such a pretty song. This, little girl who was in love, and then, he's gone away, but I'm still waiting. And it's just so lovely. She sang it in Paris in concert when I saw her, and she couldn't stop it. I mean, she had to do I'm waiting. She had to do it like at least for 5 minutes, because the audience was singing with her and screaming and chanting. And you can tell how surprised she is at how powerful this song is in Europe. And here you get the remix, the Phil Chill remix from I think from 1990, and which is really, really great, and respects the aging of the song. So it's really lovely. Then the song that I love with the longest title, I think, in all of Diana Ross history, Dooby Doom Dooby Doom Dooby Dooby Doom Dooby Dooby Doom Doob. So it's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's magnetic. It gets in your head. You never leave it. And I just adore that song. And there's a big choir that sings with her, and it's kind of a religious style song, so it's really, really beautiful and wonderful to listen to. And then two Beatles songs, Come Together and The Long and Winding Road. Come Together is really, you see how Diana Ross explores her vocal range. It's very rootsy. Her voice is a little bit raspy, and it's very, very different. The Long and Winding Road is, I think, a song that is really meant to be sung by a woman. It's just absolutely beautiful. Cher sings it, and Diana Ross gives it her all, and it's really, really beautiful. And this is part of an abandoned project, which was Diana Ross Sings the Beatles. So how amazing would that album have been? So these two songs were cherry picked and then put on this album. That's why this album was kind of called a mixed bag, and it was very often considered not a complete project, because it was songs from here and songs from there. I kind of agree, but not really, because the whole album holds itself. It's all from the same era, and the style of Diana Ross is always the same, no matter what the song. So it really goes very well together. Then a song written by Aretha Franklin called I Love You. And Diana Ross would end her concerts with that song many times. I love you, baby, won't you call me the moment you get there. Delicate and so pretty. And you know how Diana Ross is so attached to love and to I love you. She said I love you to me once on stage. So it is a very Diana Ross-y song. And if you are a fan of Diana Ross like me and of Aretha Franklin, you know how much Aretha admires Diana Ross. She even imitates her on one of the Palace shows, and she does Diana Ross just magnificently, because Aretha Franklin is a genius, so she can do anything. Then How About You? I love that song. It's got a very, very 70s vibe. It's very Bacharach and Hal David, very, very much like that. Um, it really touches you that way. You can imagine her running. It's the kind of song you would hear on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, you know, the modern girl who's just running in the streets of New York. And then we close the album with They Long to Be Close to You, my favorite version of that song. I absolutely adore that song. I love Bacharach and all the songs that were written by Bacharach and David for Dionne Warwick, for the Carpenters. But I must say, and this is not a Diana Ross fan speaking, I'm very objective, but it is sung sublimely by Diana Ross. It's the best version. And she does, you know, that thing that I absolutely adore. It's that little, that is what. And it's just so charming and so beautiful. And again, her speaking voice. This is something that really, I think, was discovered after the Supremes, how beautiful her voice is when she sings. And so she begins, you know, why do birds suddenly appear? And just that is just absolutely magical. Now, what I want to tell you is this outfit, the Bob Mackie complete fishnet bodysuit that is beaded. Now, my first job as a designer is embroidery, so it's really, really complex to bead sequins on fishnets so that they don't explode when you pull them, and that they don't turn inside out. And so this outfit, which again, the complete bodysuit, it was completed with 3 rows of ostrich feathers. And I have not for the life of me been able to find a color photo of that outfit. So I don't know what color were the ostrich feathers, but I guess it's in a flesh tone so that the whole thing is kind of nude. And the beautiful neck piece that Diana Ross wears, which is plexiglass as well as sequins, and it mimics the Cleopatra Nefertiti chest pieces, breastplates that they wore. So it's absolutely gorgeous, so daring. Diana Ross came to this photo session with designers and hairdressers. So she's done a couple of shots with curly hair, and of course she had tried all different outfits, which I'm posting as we speak. And this is while searching for this album that I found the jumpsuit, which is right here, which is lined with the white ostrich feathers on the sleeves and at the bottom. It's actually not ostrich, but it's a feather called nandu, which cannot be used anymore. There, you can only use the ones that existed. The bird is protected like the bird of paradise, and so you can no longer use these feathers. Josephine Baker, as you know, I'm French, so she's one of my idols and one of Diana Ross's idols, and Diana Ross met her. She has a few pieces that are made of this very, very rare feather. And this jumpsuit, if you see, is the exact copy, if you will, in a different version of the infamous Cher dress that she wore on the cover of Time magazine, and for which she was so famous. It's also the dress that she wore at the Met Gala at the time when the tickets for the Met Gala were $150. And Cher wore this gown, and she got so much press over it. And one of the journalists said that he had seen the entire Met Gala exhibit through Cher's legs because the dress is see-through. But I just want to point out that number one, the very first one to wear these things, Miss Ross herself. And I'm a fashion designer, so when I tell you that this is the first version, believe me. And what is fantastic is that Diana Ross never ever made any subject about the fact that the dress that is so famous and so famously and infamously worn by Cher, had been started by her, and it just looks so magnificent. Never said a word, and she actually never wore the jumpsuit again. And so she just left all the credit to Cher. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what being a superstar is. So with that in mind, please listen to, again and again, Everything is Everything, because Diana Ross is everything. And I will see you next week for another Diana Ross album. And I will be in Montreal, Canada, where I was raised. And so I'll do my video over there. See you next Sunday.